because of our language is almost similar, so I will be comfortable to talk to the local people because I think I can speak Indonesian language fluently. I think Amerta program is perfectly perfect because firstly, I love when they provide us a very good meals in every event, like the opening ceremony and for the cultural trip. We are always provided with the good meals, that's why I like it. And now I would like to share my most memorable experience here in Uner is when they brought us to the cultural trip to Yogyakarta. I've never been to Yogyakarta in my life, so it was my first experience in which I like it. I'm very happy. I was excited for it. In Yogyakarta, what I like the most is when they brought us to visit Prambanan, Candi, and yeah. I will never forget massive support given by Amerta or AGE team during my very first class here. I mean, like at first we were kind of messed up because we were not given the schedule right on time. But luckily Miss Wilda is here to help us to coordinate our timetable perfectly. Like if we are having miscommunication with the lecturer, Miss Wilda will try to help us to like communicate or get engaged to the lecturer better. That's it.
Celeste and I'm from the Netherlands. I study at the Rotterdam University of Applied Sciences and my major is International Business and Management Studies. So I choose Surabaya because my relatives live here, so it's very easy to go here. I don't need to search for housing. Also, it's a very central point to travel anywhere. And I choose Uner University because it's a very good university, one of the best of Indonesia. The student life at Uner is very good. They have 3 campuses in total with very good facilities, like they have a lot of food corners, mini markets, places where you can study, and also coffee shops. So I really like the campus life here. The most memorable thing and experience here is definitely the Gili Labak trip. It was organized by one of our buddies, and yeah, the island was just beautiful, like it was really a paradise, and we had so much fun with each other and got to know everyone. So yeah, it was definitely the best experience. AGE gives really good support during the Amerta program. If you have a problem, they will answer like immediately on WhatsApp. Also, we were given like buddies, so yeah, they would like introduce Surabaya, they would go to show you some stuff. Surabaya was really nice. And also visa extension, pick-up service from the airport, and also the housing. If you need to search for a house, they will help you with all of that. So that's really good.
Most of the time, we won't see their faces, and we won't know their names.
sektor turis Dextra sudah kami petakan dan sudah kami imobilisasi.
Oke, stabilkan.
We're used to call them heroes. They have their own lives. But when anyone needs them,
Ya. Kapan kejadiannya? Oke, saya meluncur.
they run for them. They run through uneasy terrains and places. To help people and put their own lives aside.
Halo, Assalamualaikum Ayah.
Halo, waalaikumsalam Ibu. Rumah apa kabar?
Iya nih aku mau ngabarin kalau Bapak sakit lagi, sekarang mau masuk rumah sakit lagi.
Ayah, nitip Bapak sebentar ya. Ayah 2 minggu lagi pulang kok.
Ayah di sana tugasnya yang lancar ya.
Iya, terima kasih Bu.
Biar tugas di sini aku yang handle.
Iya,
Cuman mau sampein itu aja ya. Ayah jaga kesehatan ya. I miss you. Assalamualaikum.
salam. I miss you too.
That's the story of our hero.
I gotta find my way back.
I'm Jaap Caron. I'm from Avans University, Breda, in the Netherlands. I think it's very nice. The people who organized the trip has done a great job because it went very smoothly. Everything. The bus trip was good. The homestay is arranged very well, and also the activities during the day were great. I also like what the cultural trip learned me is to connect with people from other cultures. So not only the students who joined us, but also the guest houses who took us in. They gave us great food. They were so very hospitality to us. It's just a great experience.
Hi, my name is Fazana from University Utara Malaysia.
And my name is Tan Koni. I'm from University Utara Malaysia.
Okay, my first impression about this culture trip organized by University of Erlangga firstly is about I'm from Malaysia and know about the culture, the variety culture of Indonesia, such as like today we have a cultural performance dance by Cameroon. Like.
For me, this is the best I think for me because it's like they introduce all the culture, perkawinan, right, housing, everything. Yeah, then to us like it's very new for us. So and we also get contact with them by dancing with them, so it's quite interesting.
Hey guys, my name is Marius. I'm 25 years old and from Germany. I'm studying in the Netherlands because it's close to the border of Germany at the Fontys International Business School, and my major program is international marketing. I've chosen the Universitas Erlangga UNR in Surabaya because I think that Indonesia is a really beautiful country. The people are so kind and are always smiling. And I've chosen the Erlangga UNR University because I can combine 14 different faculties and choose the courses that I want to study. It's a huge pleasure for me to be part of the Amerta program. I'm studying with lots of different students from all around the globe, and I can learn about their cultures and about their personal experience. My best experience from the program was the free cultural trip to Yogyakarta. We went there by bus with nearly 80 students and staff from the AGE office, and we visited lots of temples and a water palace that was really huge and was so interesting, and we have learned a lot about the culture and we had lots of fun together. The process of applying for visa here in Indonesia is really hard to do it on your own, but the support of the AGE is really huge in this kind of matter. They are helping you, for example, to go together to the immigration office and to help to extend the visa.
I am from Management and Science University, and I'm majoring in Bachelor in Forensic Science. I'm from Malaysia. So basically, why I choose Surabaya, UNER, as my destination of studies, because I think it is close to my home, Malaysia. And then I can just go back anytime I want, and yeah, that's good, right? Then I think because of our language is almost similar, so I will be comfortable to talk to the local people, because I think I can speak Indonesian language fluently. I think Amerta program is perfect, because firstly, I love when they provide us a very good meals in every event, like the opening ceremony and for the cultural trip. We are always provided with the good meals, so I like it. And now I would like to share my most memorable experience here in UNER is when they brought us to the cultural trip to Yogyakarta. I've never been to Yogyakarta in my life, so it was my first experience in which I like it. I'm very happy. I was excited for it. In Yogyakarta, what I like the most is when they brought us to visit Prambanan, Candi, and yeah, I will never forget massive support given by Amerta or AGE team during my very first class here. I mean, like at first we were kind of messed up because we were not given the schedule right on time, but luckily Miss Wilda is here to help us to coordinate our timetable perfectly. Like if we are having miscommunication with the lecturer, Miss Wilda will try to help us to like communicate or get engaged to the lecturer better. That's it.
Celeste, and I'm from the Netherlands. I study at the Rotterdam University of Applied Sciences, and my major is International Business and Management Studies. So I choose Surabaya because my relatives live here, so it's very easy to go here. I don't need to search for housing. Also, it's a very central point to travel anywhere. And I choose UNER University because it's a very good university, one of the best of Indonesia. The student life at UNER is very good. They have 3 campuses in total with very good facilities, like they have a lot of food corners, mini markets, places where you can study, and also coffee shops. So I really like the campus life here. The most memorable thing and experience here is definitely the Gili Labak trip. It was organized by one of our buddies, and yeah, the island was just beautiful. Like, it was really a paradise, and we had so much fun with each other and got to know everyone. So yeah, it was definitely the best experience. HEE gives really good support during the MIRTA program. If you have a problem, they will answer like immediately on WhatsApp. Also, we were given like buddies, so yeah, they would like introduce Surabaya. They would go to show you some stuff in Surabaya. It was really nice. And also visa extension, pick-up service from the airport, and also the housing. If you need to search for a house, they will help you with all of that. So that's really good.
Most of the time, we won't see their faces, and we won't know their names.
Siapkan ambulans, BCM dengan sekali. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Adrenalin 1 miligram masuk. Pasien apa ini?
Ya dok, jadi ini ada pasien open fraktur kudus dextra. Sudah kami pepatakan dan sudah kami imobilisasi.
Oke, stabilkan.
We're used to call them heroes. They have their own lives. But when anyone needs them,
Ya. Kapan kejadiannya? Oke, saya meluncur.
they run for them. They run through uneasy terrains and places. To help people and put their own lives aside.
Halo, Assalamualaikum Ayah.
Halo, waalaikumsalam Ibu. Rumah apa kabar?
Iya nih, aku mau ngabarin kalau Bapak sakit lagi, sekarang mau masuk rumah sakit lagi.
Ayah, nitip Bapak sebentar ya. Ayah 2 minggu lagi pulang kok.
Ayah di sana tugasnya yang lancar ya.
Iya, terima kasih Ibu.
Biar tugas di sini aku yang handle.
Iya.
Cuman mau sampein itu aja ya. Ayah jaga kesehatan ya. I miss you. Assalamualaikum.
Salam. I miss you too.
That's the story of our hero.
Welcome everyone. We would like to start the agenda in a minute. Please remain online and kindly switch your microphone to silent mode while we wait for other participants to join. Before we start the webinar, we would like to show you the profile videos from Universitas Erlangga in National Chiang Mai University, Taiwan. Please enjoy.
Hi, my name is Stephen Downing. I'm from the United States, and I'm currently studying in a PhD program at the Institute of Business and Management at National Chiang Mai University here in Taiwan. I wanted to study abroad because I thought it would be an excellent opportunity for international experience with classmates from different perspectives, more so than I would have got if I had just studied a degree program in the United States. Why I chose Taiwan was because I was considering studying for an MBA in a country where I could also study Chinese, and so I was considering China or Taiwan. And actually my relatives had lived and worked in Taiwan before, so they recommended Taiwan for the culture and the people and the education system. Why I chose National Chiang Mai University was because, for several reasons. First, it has a very good reputation in Taiwan as one of the top universities here, but also the particular program that I was interested in the College of Management, is well respected along with their engineering departments, from which I was going to take a few classes. And then the location in Hsinchu is close to the science park, and I felt that that is a good opportunity for cooperation research between industry and academia, so I thought it's a good location. In the MBA program, it was a lot of opportunity for group work and collaboration and discussion about business cases. And then we also organized events together, my classmates and I, and we had an opportunity to travel to the Philippines as a study of a country among the ASEAN nations. So there was also a focus on entrepreneurship and internship and also business case competitions. It's a very comprehensive program. And now in the PhD program that I'm in, it's much more individualized. So it's good because there's one-to-one research attention with my dissertation director. I think that regardless of where I work, one of the benefits of being a student graduated from National Chiang Mai University will be the ability to take increased level of adaptability with me to my future workplace. From the experience with international students and teachers, I feel like being able to transition into the corporate culture of any company will be much more smooth, and that's valued by companies. So I think it's an asset that I can take with me in my future plans.
My name is Jean-Jacques. I'm from Madagascar, and I'm a student here. I'm taking my PhD in social science at Erlanga University. And one of the reasons why I decided to choose Erlanga, first off, the facility itself, for example, like hospitals, for example, like at each campus, because there are 3 campuses, A, B, and C, and each campus has its own clinic, and it's really facilitating us if we're sick. And also other facilities, for example, like the library itself, like this place, it's really great because for us students, like especially for taking PhD, it's really hard, so we have to have, access for example, like information technology, where it allows us for e-journals. All those resources really available at Erlanga University, so I'm really lucky that I have chosen this university. And second off, because of the environment itself. It's really cool, and it's a really green campus, and there's no pollution at all, and all the people are really friendly. And the students, like my classmates, and also like there's availability of canteen and everywhere. Like, you're so glad that I chose this university.
Hello everybody, I am Shah Faisal from Pakistan, and I am here studying Master of Community Pharmacy and Faculties Pharmacy at University of Erlanga. The university is based on international standards. Every facility at international institutes needs the university has all these facilities like experienced staff, cooperative administration, internet facilities, a flash bus for transportation, sporting events, playgrounds. Every faculty has a special library regarding the books, a variety of books you can study, the parking, the cafeterias.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Ali Raza. I am a doctoral student of economics in University of Erlanga. As a research student, there is a research center for doctoral students, which is called POSAR Data or Data Center. It's help about you about any research type. If you have any difficulty about research, they provide you any type of data and writing facilities and how to write for a good journal.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Universitas Erlanga, with our motto, Excellent with Morality, is determined to produce graduates, researchers, or academics who are not only excellent in their expertise, but also have a great function for people and good significant contribution in improving the welfare of the society. As a public university, Universitas Erlanga is committed to build and strengthen collaboration with institutions around the world through academic activities, research, and community services. Therefore, I would like to invite you all to work together with us through academic partnership for serving all communities. I look forward to welcoming you in Universitas Erlanga in the near future. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to the Vice Rector for Internalization, Digitalization, and Information of Universitas Erlanga, Dr. Muhammad Miftahul Surur, Vice Rector for Research, Innovation, and Community Development of Universitas Erlanga, Professor Bambang Sektiarul Kiswanto, Head of Erlanga Global Engagement, Dr. Dian Ekowati, the honorable speakers and moderator for today's webinar, Professor Yu Chen from National Chiao Tung University, Taiwan, Dr. Tahta Amrillah from School of Advanced Technology and Multidisciplinary Universitas Airlangga, and Dr. Arif Cahyo Wibowo from School of Advanced Technology and Multidisciplinary Universitas Airlangga, the organizing committee and representative of Taiwan Education Center in Surabaya, and all the participants who join us today. Thank you and welcome to the Erlanga Global Talk, Present Status and Future Prospect of Nanotechnology in Indonesia. My name is Nastiti Apriliana, and I will be the Master of Ceremony for today's webinar. Next, I would like to invite Vice Rector for Internalization, Digitalization and Information, Dr. Muhammad Mitausuru, to deliver an opening remarks. The floor is yours, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you today on this incredible special occasion on the 6th webinar from the Airlangga Global Talk Series. A very warm greeting to all our esteemed speaker, Professor Yu Chi Chen from National Chiao Tung University, and also Tahta Amrilla PhD from School and Advanced Technology and Multidisciplinary Universitas Airlangga. The moderator for this webinar, Arif Cahyo Wibowo, PhD from School and Advanced Technology and Multidisciplinary Universitas Airlangga, and also all of the participants of the webinar. It is a great honor from Universitas Airlangga to be able to collaborate with Taiwan Educational Center in Surabaya and National Chiao Tung University, Taiwan, to discuss the topic of present status and future prospect of nanotechnology in Indonesia. Nanotechnology is the key to the development of all technologies, especially in the fields of electronics and biomedicines. Developed countries like Taiwan have already established nanotechnology-based industries. Meanwhile, Indonesia has not started yet due to its limited human resources capacity. The new study program of nanotechnology at UNER is the only nanotechnology department in Indonesia. It aims to produce graduates who are experts in nanotechnology and excel in the utilization and application of nanotechnology to leverage its benefits for the community. Ladies and gentlemen, hence I invite all our participants to actively participate in the discussion, and I would like to thank the committees, the speakers, the moderator, and everyone involved in creating the webinar for your marvelous contributions to succeed in the whole process. And finally, I wish you all a great day and a fruitful sessions. Thank you for your attention, and once again, welcome to the very 6th webinar on Airlangga Global Talk Series. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad Mitausuru, for the remarks. I would like to invite all the panelists to stand by for a moment and activate your camera since we are going to take a group photo. I will count to 3. Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Once more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Before we start, I'd like to introduce our moderator who will be managing the webinar functionality throughout the session. Our moderator today is Dr. Arif Cahyo Wibowo. Dr. Arif Cahyo Wibowo is currently an assistant professor for School of Advanced Technology and Multidiscipline Universitas Airlangga, Indonesia, as well as research scientist at the Center for Refining and Petrochemical, King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals, Saudi Arabia. He achieved his bachelor degree in science in chemical engineering and master in material science and engineering from Michigan State University, the United States, and PhD degree in organic chemistry from University of South Carolina, the United States. His research interests cover synthesis by design through exploratory synthesis of new metal-organic coordination polymers, metal-organic hybrids, and chalcogenide and derivatives of structure versus charge transport and defect-related properties investigations. He was awarded recognitions of appreciation for contribution to science, engineering, and technology programs by the Argonne National Laboratory, the United States in 2013, and the University of South Carolina Graduate School Dissertation Fellow in summer 2011. Dr. Arif Wibawa, you are pleased to take over.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Nastiti. So I would like to welcome all the participants for this great webinar with title of Present and Status and Future Prospect of Nanotechnology in Indonesia. Hopefully with this great occasion, hopefully we can see the present status and then the future prospect of nanotechnology in Indonesia. Although it has been few years that it's already started, although it's rather slowly, but we can see some you know, some new startup company that based on nanotechnologies. You will see that will be presented by Prof. Yu Chen and also Dr. Tahta. So today, without further ado, I will introduce you to both speakers. First is Prof. Yu Chen of National Chiao Tung University. So here are, as you see, here are her profile, right? Her short profile. So Prof. Yu Chen got her PhD from the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry from Montana State University, USA. And then she got her master degree from the Department of Chemistry from National Sun Yat-sen University, Taiwan. Also bachelor degree from Taiwan, but a different university, which is from National Cheng Kung University, Taiwan. And then her research interest is development of biological mass spectrometry, microorganism and cancer cell analysis. Also, of course, nanomaterial-based biosensing for biomolecules, bacteria and cancer cells, and nanomaterial-based antibiotic and anti-cancer agents. So in this talk, you will see, you know, how she will address, you know, how she will, you know, teach Indonesian scientists, Indonesian young scientists to be great nanoscientists, so that they can contribute to our beloved country, Indonesia. So if you could go to the next slide, please. So she got also awards, surely. She got Young Mass Spectrometrist Research Award from Taiwan Society for Mass Spectrometry. And she was awarded also Junior Chemist Research Award from Chemical Society of Taiwan. And then from National Science Council Taiwan, she got another award, which is a Mr. Tayo Wu Memorial Award. And also, last but not least, she got chosen to be a Young Scholars Research Award, which is from Suimu Foundation of Chemistry, Taiwan. So again, without further ado, I will give the floor to Prof. Yu Chen for presenting her talk. Please, Prof. Yu Chen.
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you for the kind introduction and the invitation. And it's my great pleasure to be here to share my point of view about future prospects of nanotechnology in Indonesia. And I think the future prospects of nanotechnology in Indonesia, no doubt, should be people. We should already train some young scientists. Then there will be the future for the development of nanotechnology in the country. So these two girls currently working in my lab, Mifita and Julie. And Mifita got her master's degree from University of Erlangen. And I believe when they finish their studies, in Taiwan. When they return to Indonesia, they will contribute whatever they learn here. So I think they are the future prospects. Also, all the prospective students who want to study in the nanotechnology graduate program. So for the future prospects of nanotechnology in Indonesia, I will only emphasize on biomedicine research because my lab already focused on this field in the past few years. So I think I probably can contribute to some of my point of view about the future prospects of the nanotechnology related to biomedicine in Indonesia. And talking about the biomedicine, then we should really think about two aspects. One is diagnostics, the other is medical treatment. Because once a physician want to treat a patient, they have to find out first thing is what kind of disease that the patient has. So to develop very rapid screening method for identify the cause of disease will be very important. And once the physician know what's the cause of a disease, then they can implement some proper medical treatment like prescribe suitable drugs or some therapy method so the patient can recover very quickly. And why I emphasize on using nanoparticles because nanoparticles have many unique properties. Because as people know, once the material from large and scaled down to a narrow size, actually the properties of the nanomaterial will become very different from the bulk materials. And I will show you some example later. And also to synthesize nanoparticles can be very straightforward and simple. And once we generate nanoparticles, we also can impose some functionalities to the nanoparticles so they can be applied in biomedicine research. And also to generate nanoparticles can be very inexpensive, depends on what kind of starting materials you want to choose. You can really choose some very inexpensive one. So because of these features, so I think I use nanoparticles as a tool to develop some biomedicine application will be a way to go. So talk about unique properties of nanoparticles. I just want to show you some example that those nanomaterials has generated in my lab. As you can see from the picture, there's a very colorful like gold nanoparticles. You can see the nanoparticles have a red, green, even purple color. And once the nanoparticle size like nailed down to reduced to below 3 nanometer, and they will gain the molecular-like properties. They can emit fluorescence because of quantum confined effects. And we can see they can emit very bright and beautiful colors, as you can see, like a rainbow colors here. And this kind of visible color, of course, will be very good to be used in the applications of diagnostic method development. And except the metal nanoparticles, actually you can also use metal oxide nanoparticles like iron oxide magnetic nanoparticles. And these kind of nanoparticles, they have very apparent magnetism. As you can see from this vial, there's a lot of, there's a brown colors. And once you place a magnet next to the simple vial, then we can see the solution become very clear and all the nanoparticles will be aggregate on the wall next to the magnet. So these kind of particles, of course, especially very good to develop some analytical methods for diagnostic applications, because once they trap their target species from the complex samples, we can easily isolate the target species from the complex samples because of these magnetic nanoprobes. And also I mentioned to synthesize nanoparticles can be very straightforward. In my lab, usually we prefer to use one-part reactions, which are put all the starting material in one part and heat up and control the temperature and pH. So after hours or days, we already can generate the nanoparticles we would like to have. So if you think the reaction time is too long, actually you can use this apparatus. I believe everybody's home have this kind of microwave oven. Then you can just put the one part, this part already contain all the starting materials and heat up for a few minutes, already can get the nanomaterials. So I believe if you know how to cook, then you know how to make nanoparticles, especially this step even much simpler than the real cooking. And people may think to generate the nanoparticles may be very expensive, but actually you can just choose the starting materials from the nature. For example, natural products such as eggs from chicken or from pigeon. Actually, it's very inexpensive, very cheap, but they are protein-rich stuff. And in biomedicine applications, I believe in some cases you really need proteins. So if you choose some protein from the chemical company, can be very expensive. But just take from nature, you can really take the advantages and to generate some nanoparticles. So I will show you some example in this slide. So actually, based on use of egg white proteins from eggs, chicken eggs, or from the pigeon egg white, actually we can generate particles like bright carbon dust. And this kind of bright carbon dust can be just generated by heating up egg white proteins for a few hours under high temperature. Then this nanomaterial will be generated and they will emit a very beautiful fluorescence under different excitation light. And also this can be used for bacterial labeling or can be a sensing probe for different kinds of small molecules. And also use this kind of natural products, natural proteins, we can generate some gonal particles with a red color or different colors or with a brighter fluorescence. And by using this kind of natural products like egg white proteins, actually we can make a very stable gonal particles and the gonal clusters. So that's even better than those expensive starting materials purchased from chemical companies. So the nanoparticles once generated from cooking process, some of them may already have their own functionalities. So we don't need really to modify them further. But in some cases, actually you can modify them to gain some functionality by some simple chemical methods. So it can be easily done. And once we generate nanoparticles, we can use these nanoparticles as finite probes to target anything you would like to target, including cancer cells, bacteria, fungi, or large molecules like proteins, peptides, or small molecules. And this kind of affinity is based on mainly based on molecular recognition, and naturally they can recognize each other, or just based on some simple chemical interactions like chelation or electrostatic interactions. So talk about biomedicine, then we shall look at the top 10 causes of death in Indonesia. And as you can see from the slide that I find out from the internet, it seems the top 10 causes of death in Indonesia, the top one is stroke, so it's related to heart and also the heart blood pressures. And some of the disease actually cause catching my attention, like tuberculosis, and it also can cause death, but actually it's derived from the bacterial infections. So to treat the disease from the bacterial infection actually is not really a problem, as long as we know what kind of antibiotics can be used. But the problem is if the bacteria develop their drug-resistant properties, then there will be a big trouble because the antibiotics will be less effective to kill the bacteria. And also another is diarrhea disease also can cause death. And I believe most of the cause may be because of a bacterial infection. So bacterial infection cause diarrhea. We can see from this slide, like E. coli O78H11. This bacterial strain can generate heat laid by enterotoxin. Then it causes people to have cramps and also diarrhea. And usually people are traveling will have this kind of symptom if they take some food from the contaminated drinking water or food. And the other also toxin, sugar toxin, also derived from E. coli, and this is different from the previous one. This SLT1 actually already caused a lot of outbreaks in the world, mostly in the fast food restaurant from the hamburgers, because hamburgers are made of vegetables or meat. So if vegetables or meat contaminated by this strain of E. coli, then they have the customers may have that bloody diarrhea or even death. So it can be very serious. And so, as I mentioned earlier, to treat a bacterial infection may not be a problem. A problem is after extensive use of antibiotics, many bacterial strains already develop their antibiotic resistant properties. So that means the common antibiotics will not kill the bacteria. So it's not only Indonesia problem, I think, and also I think it's a global public health issue. So what's the solution and what nanotechnology can apply for solve these problems? I think a solution for such infections, first of all, we should have a rapid screening method to know the cause of the disease. And then after know the cause of disease, and then we can have also develop some effective drugs or antibiotics by using the functional nanoparticles as the strategy. So I will show you some example in the following slides. So for example, to develop rapid screening method for detection of protein taxing, like sugar-like taxing 1, as I mentioned to you earlier, this protein taxing can be expressed from one strand of E. coli. And we can use some nanoparticles. This use magnetic nanoparticles and immobilize with a pigeon ovalbumin. As I just mentioned, a pigeon ovalbumin actually can come from the pigeon egg whites and very inexpensive materials. But naturally, this pigeon ovalbumin, they can recognize the sugar-like taxing 1. Naturally, they just can recognize each other. So once we use this kind of probe to target the protein taxing, then we can use a magnetic isolation. We can like isolate sugar-like taxing 1 quickly, and then using mass spectrometry to identify the identity of this species trapped by the nanoparticles. Mass spectrometry is a technique that can provide chemical information related to molecular weights. So from mass spec, we can see the molecular weight and 6 different kind of molecules or proteins. They have their unique molecular weights. So based on molecular weight, we can identify the identity of the species trapped by nanoparticles. And this kind of nanoparticles not only used for detection probe, actually they are potentially can be used as a drug. Like the example I just showed you, nanoparticles immobilized with a pigeon ovalbumin. Actually, they naturally can target the sugar-like taxing 1, this kind of proteins. So once they target, actually they supposedly or they potentially they can neutralize the toxicity of a sugar-like taxing 1, and that means it's kind of antidote-like agent. So this kind of probe not only for detection purpose, and they are potentially can be used as a drug-like agent. And also talk about detection of pathogenic bacteria. We can also use a similar strategy as I just presented earlier. So we also can functionalize the nanoparticles with specific molecules like proteins or some functional peptides. And naturally, they can recognize the specific bacteria. So once they target a bacteria, then we can isolate by magnetic separation and still use a mass spectrometry to do a quick identification. Because this kind of the step only take about 10 to 15 minutes. So it can be a very fast screening method. And also this kind of nanoparticles, I just show you this example. Gold nanoparticles is functionalized with functional peptides. That means these peptides can naturally recognize Staphylococcus aureus, which is a common pathogen, and that can cause food poisoning and also some infections. And once these nanoparticles target on the bacteria, we can see from this TIA image, it's a bigger circle, actually it's bacteria, and a small dots on the image, there's a gold nanoparticles. You can see there's 100,000 nanoparticles can anchor on the surface of bacteria. And then once anchor on the surface of bacteria, then we can actually identify is a presence of Staphylococcus aureus by some analytical detection method. And also this kind of nanoparticles can be also used as an antibacterial agent, like antibiotic-like agent. Because once this nanoparticle target on the bacteria, and as you can see, if a nanoparticle wants to do something on the bacteria, it will be very easy. They can just kill bacteria directly. So this kind of nanoparticle can be also used as an antibiotic-like agent. So once this kind of antibacterial agent mixed it with bacteria, and we already try to use some super bacteria as a sample, we find out the growth of the bacteria actually can be greatly inhibited. So this normal growth curve. But once the bacteria incubate with nanoparticles, they are hard to grow overnight. And another strategy, actually, we can use old drug to combine with nanoparticles to make a new drug and more effective. And vancomycin is an antibiotic usually used for treating infection from Staphylococcus aureus. But because of extensive use of antibiotics, so actually already this bacteria developed his antibiotic resistance trend. So that means vancomycin will not be effective to kill this bacteria anymore. But we find out once we immobilize the vancomycin on the gonio particles, become the antibiotic agent, and this vancomycin bound gonio particles can even kill superbugs like a drug-resistant bacterial strains. And I just want to show you this table. So this table shows a minimal inhibitory concentration 50, MIC 50, meaning the 50% of bacteria can be killed by MIC 50, meaning the dose to kill 50% of bacteria. And this table shows the different bacterial strains have been tested, and also vancomycin is current. And if a vancomycin binds with the gonio particles, you can see a number. The number higher means less effective. So you can see from this red column, actually the number is much smaller than from the vancomycin column. That means the vancomycin bound gonio particles can be used as very potent antibiotic agents. And also the red test, all are drug-resistant bacterial strains. So for the use of conventional vancomycin to treat this kind of bacteria, you can see the number still quite high. But once use this vancomycin gonio particles, and you can see the number, the MIC 50 drop greatly. That means this become very effective, even can be used to treat this kind of drug-resistant bacterial strains. So the cancer seems to still not a big problem in Indonesia yet, but I believe because of lifestyle change, also the pollution of the environment, I think cancer disease may become serious in the country. And so far, based on the data I found out from the internet, it's around 30% of people die in Indonesia because of cancer disease. So for the nanoparticle-based strategy applied to diagnostics, also for the medical treatment, actually it can be used. For example, if a gonio particles already already immobilized some probe molecules, they can target on cancer cells, and then they can specifically recognize cancer cells, and it will be very useful for physician for the diagnostics and also for the treatment, because the physician have to know if the tissue already have some cancer cells appear, so they need some image agent for distinguish the normal cells from the cancer cells. And actually, functional particles are commonly used as drug carriers. But I believe this kind of drug carrier, to reduce the amount of nanoparticles, we should really impose the functionality to the nanoparticles. So the dose of the nanoparticles can be reduced, because people are still concerned about the toxicity of nanoparticles. But if we can reduce the dose of nanoparticles, I think the safety issue really the concern can be reduced. And so these nanoparticles already immobilize some pro-molecules, also carrier drugs. And this functional nanoparticle actually can recognize breast cancer cells. So once they target the cancer cells, and because they have a targeting capacity, so they can recognize specific to the cancer cells, and afterwards they can release the drugs, and the cancer cell will be destroyed. So I think there's also potential applications that we can use this kind of functional nanoparticles as anti-cancer agents. But of course, those examples I just show you so far still on the developing stage. So I believe in the future, including in Indonesia, really there's a potential to really make efforts to develop this kind of research field. So to develop for medical treatment, also for the get the new drugs. So to sum up, I hope I already give you some idea about how good to use functional nanoparticles to develop some applications in biomedicine. So I think functional nanoparticles should have functionality and the targeting capacity. So I think the future prospects of nanotechnology based biomedicine research in Indonesia can focus on these two aspects: diagnostics by using functional particles as a detection probe and also image agents. And also based on the use of functional particles, new medical treatment can be developed. So thank you for your attention. And here's my small group. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Yu Chen, for very nice presentation and then very informative. So short and very nice. So that's in the field of biomedical application for nanotechnology and nanoparticles. So you can use it to to immobilize the nanoparticle on the bacteria, for example, and then you can use it to diagnose what kind of bacteria is it, and then you can also do other treatment for nanoparticles, surface treatment, for example, for other application, for example, to destroy the cancer cell. So when I see the Q&A, there are already 6 questions, but for all participants, you have to wait. There will be a 20-minute Q&A session after the speakers. So without further ado, we will just going to continue for our second speaker. He is actually alumni of NCTU, National Chiao Tung University itself. So I would like to introduce Dr. Tahta Amrila. Here is some his profiles, short profiles. So like I said, his production or graduates or alumni of National Chiao Tung University. So he's trained by professors in NCTU Taiwan for his master degree and then PhD degree as well in electrophysics, mashallah. And then his bachelor degree is actually graduated from SPLU November Institute of Technology, ITS, our local grown for bachelor degree, and then getting experience abroad. And this is, like I said, this is an example of a result from collaboration between Taiwan and Indonesia. So his research interest is condensed matter physics. He will give a lot of briefly on his work on multiferroic materials, especially. And then he has some awards in 2020 to 2021. He got Grand Penelitian Hibah Riset Mandat of Universitas Airlangga. So and then currently also he got mashallah one of the prestigious postdoc fellowship in the world from Japan, which is from GSPS, Japan Society for Promotion of Science. So this is a very competitive postdoc fellowship. So he's currently in Japan right now doing his postdocs over there. And besides doing the postdoc over there, which is in Department of Chemistry, Tohoku University, Japan, through GSPS postdoc fellowship, he also recently becomes one of the lecturers in our beloved Department of Nanotechnology, School of Advanced Technology Multidiscipline, Universitas Airlangga, Indonesia. So without further ado, I'll give the floor to Dr. Tahta Amrila. Please, Dr. Tahta.
Thank you so much for introduction, Dr. Ari. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Professor Chen. And firstly, I would like to thanks to the organizer who invited me to give this talk. And I would like to share my presentation today, which is talking about present status and future prospect of nanotechnology in Indonesia. This is in my opinion. Okay, and I divide my presentation today into three parts actually. First, I would like to introduce myself again, and it's because I am actually alumni of NCTU, and then I would like also to use this opportunity to introduce our new department, Department of Nanotechnology, Universitas Airlangga. And the second and the last, I will talk about nanotechnology, Indonesia status and future prospect. Okay, as I mentioned, as Dr. had mentioned that I've spent 5 years in Taiwan in the National Chiao-Tung University. I spent for my master and PhD program, and I have a lot of good moment, beautiful moment there. For example, like when I went to Taipei, and this is the tallest building in Taiwan. I think also the tallest building, number four in the world. And during the New Year Eve, there will have some firework come on site of this building. It's very beautiful. And I think most of the participants here is the student from the Department of Nanotechnology, Universitas Airlangga. I would like to encourage them. Probably they want to take the study about to Taiwan, especially for in the institute. And this is the picture during the graduation. And he's my advisor, Professor Jenny Chuang. He's very nice person I've ever met in Taiwan. And probably also in my life, he's very nice. And then this is the, when I was taking a picture during master graduation, this is the gate of the NCTU, Guangfu campus. Actually, there are 3 campuses of NCTU. And NCTU itself located in Hsinchu, 2 hours from Taipei by bus. And actually, Taiwan is very small compared to Indonesia, but they are already developed country. And then it's because I have no much time to traveling, so I just went to Taipei a couple of times, Kaohsiung, Tainan. That's all. It's because I spend a lot of my time in my lab. Okay, but it's very nice. I mean, even though that I just went, not too much place I went, I visited, but it's very nice. And I encourage my student, the student in the nanotechnology department, probably they want to go to Taiwan to have some fun. And here's my work during my PhD. During my PhD, I actually not only belong to Professor Jenny Chuang's lab, but I also spend my time in Professor Ing Hao Chu's lab. He's a great professor. He is very famous, I think, in Taiwan. And actually, I want to be like him. He's very great professor. And my main research is about the multifluoric material. Multifluoric itself is a material which possesses 2 characteristics of ferroic. For example, like this material have two properties, magnetic and electrical properties. And then there are a lot of several type of multifluoric depending on how they are interactive. And in this case, I focuses on the multifluoric nanocomposite. It is because this material have stronger matter-electric coefficient compared than the other type of multifluoric. And this is one of my publication. There are several material of multifluoric nanocomposite. One of them is DFO CFO. So there are a material, namely DFO and then CFO. We combine it as a thin film, flexible thin film, and then we found that there are stronger matter-electric coefficient compared than when we synthesize this material into rigid form. So we can obtain stronger matter-electric coefficient here. And then here's just the schematic of the multifluoric nanocomposite, because multi-thread nanocomposite is composed with two materials, material with strong magnetic properties with strong electric properties, and then they can couple each other to produce some large magnetoelectric coupling. And then the magnetoelectric composite itself can be found in the several forms, for example, like in the nanoparticle, in the polycrystalline, bulk polycrystalline, and then also in the thin film. Because in this case, we focus on the thin film form because this material is easier to integrate it as electronic devices. I will discuss about the electronic devices later. And how do we synthesize the material? We use pulse laser deposition, and actually there are several methods to synthesize this material, and then we use pulse laser deposition. The process is actually quite simple. We just put some material. So, for example, like in my case, I want to grow BFO CFO nanocomposite so that we combine two material, BFO and CFO, into bulk polycrystalline. And then we put it here, and then we also put some substrate. And then we heat it up. We hit the target. We call it target, and then there are some plume come from this target when we heat up with the laser. And then this plume contain BFO and then CFO nanoparticle, which later will attach to the substrate, so that we can obtain nanocomposite with the bilayer, particulate, or vertical element composite, depending on the method we use. And actually, there are my self-introduction again, and then this is I want to use my this opportunity to introduce our new department of Nanotechnology, which included in the School of Advanced Technology and Multidisciplinary Universitas Airlangga. This department is the one and then only university only department of nanotechnology for bachelor degree in Indonesia. I think this is good opportunity to produce some human resources where they are expert in nanotechnology. And because we also was born last year actually, and then we set our curriculum academic with strongly integrated each other, because in the School of Advanced Technology and Multidisciplinary Universitas Airlangga also contain 5 more departments, and then we are strongly connected each other, so that we will probably help each other for our research. And then what is the role of Department of Nanotechnology? Of course, because we want to produce human resources with their nanotechnology expertise. But for Universitas Airlangga itself, we probably can enhance the life science research in Universitas Airlangga. Is famous with life science research. For example, like they already have stem cell research and development center, and then teaching industries, and also tropical disease center. And by existence of the Department of Nanotechnology in Universitas Airlangga, probably we can enhance our research. So we can develop our research into more advanced life science research. And because we just was born last year, of course, we have very small crew. I mean, just only 5 staff, but of course we also have backup from the staff in the Faculty of Science and Nanotechnology in Universitas Airlangga. Most of them, for example, like Dr. Tika, Dr. Intan, Dr. Arif, they are graduated from Japan, and we are lucky to have Dr. Arif in our team, is because he have a lot of experience. He has spent a lot of time in the US, Arab, and also in Malaysia. And here is our research, latest research, which published in this year. Like our research is very diverse, and then we have a different expertise. For example, like Dr. Tika, she expert in the electrochemical research, and then Dr. Intan, who expert in the environmental research. Dr. Arif, expert in the organic and inorganic material, and also Dr. Lutfi, who expert in the catalyst research. And here is my latest research, and actually this research is collaborated with Professor Chuang and Professor Chu. And we also still have several projects that probably we want to publish in the near future. Okay, if that's all, the introduction of me and then also the new department of nanotechnology in Universitas Airlangga. In this case, I want to discuss about nanotechnology in Indonesia, in my opinion. Before that, I want to give some information that the status of Indonesia, according to the IMF and the UN. Indonesia itself still in the developing countries. In comparison in Taiwan, Taiwan already developed countries. And then if we compare developing and developed countries, developed countries already implement the nanotechnology thing. For example, like in their industry, for example, the semiconductor technology. In Taiwan, first I came to Taiwan. Actually, I don't know that they are one of country who have very large semiconductor company. For example, like TSMC. This company is very famous in the world, and most of my friends, actually, my late mate, when I asked where they will go after they graduate, they want to have a job in TSMC. I think this company is very famous in Taiwan, also in the world. Actually, what is the semiconductor technology? As we probably understand or already know that the computer 50 years ago or 70 years ago, the size is very big, and then it's not handy, and then it's not very convenient. And then nowadays, the computer is already more handy, more convenient. It's because of this semiconductor technologies. A long time ago, the company, the component of the computer probably is very large. And then because of the development of semiconductor technology, we can have some integrated circuit that make this device into a smaller device and then more convenient to us. The semiconductor technology itself also depending on how do we fabricate. And then there's still a lot of development of the fabrication of the semiconductor technology. And then unfortunately in Indonesia, our industry still about the mining, and then we don't have nanotechnology thing. And actually, if we consider the mining of in Indonesia, for example, like iron, tin, aluminum, or copper, or nickel, they are the component of the electronic devices. And then if we have human resources who can who have expertise in the nanotechnology, probably we can change our industries from the mining into the electronic devices, so that we can use the mining we have like tin, aluminum, copper, and then we can use for electronic devices. That is the important thing of the why we need to learn nanotechnology. And another thing is, as we understand that Indonesia is the country on the equator, which means that we have sunshine every year. Unfortunately, we did not use that opportunity for electricity generation. Indonesia still use natural gas, coal or oil for the electricity generation. And if we have the human resources who understand nanotechnology, we can make some solar cell. Solar cell itself is one of product of the nanotechnology. By nanotechnology, there are some development of solar cell that can have cell efficiency of more than 50%. By using technology, we also can make some solar cell with very cheap synthesize, for example, like Dr. Blade printing method, where these two synthesis method is very cheap, so that we can make solar cell with a very cheap cost. And another thing is, in Indonesia is known as agriculture and then also aquaculture country. And for the aquaculture country, because more than 72% of Indonesia is sea. And then what we can do what we can do by using nanotechnology for agriculture, for example, like by using the metal oxide, we can absorb. They can absorb the environmental contaminants so that it can stimulate the plant growth, and then we can enhance the productivity of the plant. We also can use some nanozeolites or nanohydrogel as a water holding capacity, so that we did not use a lot of water for this plant. And also probably we also can use some smart monitoring using nanosensor by wireless communication devices. And as for the aquaculture, nanotechnology also can use as probably we can use it as a vaccine delivery, water purification, or nutrient delivery. And then as I know that there are some company in Indonesia that can produce some machine that they can produce some nanobubble that to increase the oxygen composition in the water, so that it can increase the productivity of aquaculture and the fisheries. Okay, that's all actually my talk, Dr. Arif. I will give it back to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tahta. Somehow I'll make it minimize my screen, sorry. So thank you very much for your talk, Dr. Tahta. So as everybody have heard that Dr. Tahta have given an introduction on himself. He's a real, real life examples of NCTU graduates, mashallah, and then inshallah will contribute very soon, come back from his postdoc in Japan, will contribute back to Indonesia, and then to develop Indonesia in terms of nanotechnology. And he has mentioned all these potentials in Indonesia, mashallah. It's very, very vast country with a lot of potential, natural resources, mineral resources, and everything like that we can harvest. So basically, that's with that, we are going to come to our last session, which is Q&A session. And what I see from the screen, we have about 7 questions. So what I will do, actually, I just already copy paste the questions and then put it in PowerPoint. So what I will do, I will share this PowerPoint to everybody, so they can see the PowerPoint, and especially for the panelists, right? For the speakers, so they can see the questions from our viewer and listeners. So let me put it in the full screen. Okay. So hopefully everybody can see, right? So the first questions is from Benny Iskandar. He's from Stifar Riau, one of the province in Sumatra Island. So Benny asks, how about the latest developments in nanocosmetics? Is it only limited to speed of penetration of cosmetic preparation into the skin, or is there anything else? So yes, yeah, I mean, he asked about the latest development in nanocosmetics to the speakers. Maybe is it this nanocosmetics will help, nanosize will help in penetration and diffusion of this cosmetics, or is there any other mechanism? Maybe so. I will leave the floor to the speaker for sharing their thoughts on this. These questions from Benny Iskandar. Whoever, one of the speaker, maybe if they have some thought about this nanocosmetics. Probably, it's very hot, maybe very hot for the ladies, especially from the South Korea. I also just heard about this, that they invented this cosmetics with putting nano material where their skin can glow and everything like that. Just putting some of the nanomaterial, some of the nanometals that is intoxic, that is non-toxic. So so the question is it only limited to the speed of penetration of cosmetic preparation into the skin? So, or is there anything else? It's not very clear questions, but maybe.
I think I can contribute
yes,
from
please.
my point of view.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I wait for you to call my name, so sorry.
Yeah. I just look at the mute or unmute. So as soon as you unmute, then I'll say, okay, Prof, please.
Okay, yeah. Even though in my research experience, we never conduct any application in neurocosmetics, but I think the concern once you apply on the human bodies, I think the toxicity consideration should be the top one issue. So I think right now, even mental nanoparticles, usually we think gold nanoparticles, and also on outside nanoparticles actually are less toxic. But you consider you take in your body, I think you will feel somehow uncomfortable. I think I can use some biocompatible biomolecules to make a nanoparticle-like agent. I think would be better. Like people maybe already use a liposome, let's combine with some biomolecules like a structure, and so they can release this kind, maybe some integrant from the cosmetics. I think that's better. So, but I think right now use metal nanoparticles. Even me, I will not use. But I know some of the like sunscreen. They put the zinc oxide, maybe nanoparticles. But since it's not very toxic because they can screen the sunlight, so they're useless. But I think for some toxicity study should be really careful exempt to prevent some disaster to occur. Yeah, so that's my point of view about this application.
Okay. Thank you so much for the insights, Prof. Yuchie Chen. So, any thoughts from Dr. Tata?
Yeah, actually, I'm not very expert in this kind of the research, and yeah, I'm afraid that I will give some wrong information. So yeah, I don't have any comment about this.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. No problem. So So the second questions come from Lady Margaret Pangabian. So she's from Palangkaraya University. So she's one of the in Kalimantan Island, one of the universities in Kalimantan Island. So she wants to ask Prof. Yu Che-Chen, as we know, to find out the material that has been synthesized. Let me just go. Has been synthesized into nanoparticles is by testing the material. Which test is easier to use to find out whether the material has been synthesized has become nanoparticles? So this is, I would guess this is most Indonesian researcher who's doing nanoparticles or something like that, because we are limited with facilities. So you know, they would want to know what kind of a simple test that readily available, maybe in our I don't know, our kitchen or anything like that. That we can use to make sure that what we made is actually a nanoparticle materials. So I will leave the floor to one of you can go the speaker who can go, whoever first. It's up to you.
Okay, so I can also
yes,
respond some my comment about these questions, and I think because as a chemist, usually we choose materials. We want to look at the chemical structure. So from the chemical structures, we will gain some idea. So for example, I don't know if people are aware, actually we can make nanoparticles by using Coca-Cola as a starting materials. Because, you know, in Coca-Cola, they contain like a citric acid. So actually that's a very good reducing agent. So you just, but of course you need some chloric acid from the gold salt. Then you just mix it with Coca-Cola. Actually, the color will maybe from a brown into red color. Because the color change, then we will know actually the nanoparticles are generated. So based on the colors and also based on the chemical structure, we will gain some idea if it's good to be used as starting materials to generate nanoparticles or not. So usually we cannot just we cannot say we don't know anything and we just try. Of course we can do like this, but I think better we know the, even from natural product, we should know what's the main composition, and they will give us some idea if we can make it or not. Okay, but of course if people want to try and error, and also fine, but it may take more time without any background. Okay.
Right. Thank you. So change of color, right? The easiest way. See the change of color.
Yeah, because okay. Like if the nanoparticles, once they become 10 nanometer size, then will become very beautiful red color. Right. And usually starting material will not have this kind of bright color, beautiful color. So from color change, we know.
Yes. So easy to spot. Hopefully from Lady Pangabian. So that can be answered to Prof. Yu Che-Chen. Any thoughts from maybe although this is to Prof. Yu Che-Chen, maybe if Dr. Tahta, maybe you have some thoughts on this.
No, I think in my case, actually, I also in the thin film, and actually how to determine the samples is fabricated successfully or not. I also see from the color actually, and then it's depending on the structure. For example, like when the structure is hexagonal, it will become more blue, for example, like that. If the sample is like in the monoxide, or actually the color is different in every material we synthesize.
Based on the structure, right? So you see this just the reflection from the thin film. Yes. So that's another simple way, right, to see. It just came to across to my mind also. You know, this. You know, if you make a nanoparticle solution, also, you know, if you sign a, you know, your PowerPoint pointer, right, laser pointer. If you put it into the solution, suit it to the solution itself, right? So you can see that it's diffracting or scatter the light, right? The nanoparticle. So the nanoparticle solution will also scatters the light when you sign it with some light. For example, a simple pointer, laser pointer. You dissolve your nanoparticle. Let's say you made it, maybe you made it, then you dissolve it, and then it's a solution, and you just sign it with laser pointer. So if you see the line of laser pointer go through the solution, that means there is a nanoparticle there. Something like that. It's also pretty simple things. So the next question is, let's see, from Jesiah. So this one, a lot of, so study cytotoxicity. So this is, I believe, come back to Dr. Prof. Yu Chie Chen, because myself and then Dr. Tahta is also, although I am a chemist, but more towards physical chemistry, solid-state chemistry. So Prof. Yu Chie Chen, towards biology, biomedical. So study cytotoxicity of targeted nanoparticles are well developed, like MTT assay, apoptosis assay, etc. Are there similar assays to study delivery efficacy? For example, intracellular distribution. Is there any other similar assays that is maybe newly developed nowadays?
Yeah, so actually, I have no idea about the answer for this question, because usually we do the in vitro studies, and we just check NTT assay, just a common in vitro assays. But for in vivo, you want to do in vivo, usually you have to ask the collaborator to test it. So actually, I have no idea about this. Basically, sorry.
Okay. No problem. We all have limitations. Maybe we can keep these questions, and then we try to ask collaborators maybe in NCTU, maybe be able to answer these questions. And then once we got the answer, we believe that we can post these answers to the social media of AGE, the Airlangga Global Engagement. So hopefully we will follow up with these questions. So the next questions is, as we know, that antibiotics, this is from anonymous attendee, as we know that antibiotics, if they're exposed to some tissues, can induce toxicity, such as aminoglycolides to renal cells and inner ear cells. To your knowledge and research, can we alter the binding affinity of these antibiotics using nanoparticles? And are those alteration cost effective in your opinion? So I believe this is Prof. Yu Chie Chen field again.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's
so feel
possible.
free, Dr. Tata, if you have some thought too.
Yeah.
Yes, please, Prof. Sorry.
So I think it's possible, but I just have to check if the once the new antibiotics, when they bind with the bacteria, or they start their killing process, they may bind with a specific site inside the cell or outside of the cell. So we have to look if the structure has been destroyed for the binding. So if a structure already destroyed because of the multiplication on the nanoparticles, I think then the antibiotics will become ineffective. Yeah. So of course there are some antibiotics can be used for this kind of research, but we have to look at if a structure still can remain after generating nanoparticles. Thank you.
So I think that this alteration, like some of your talk is there too, right? You surface functionalize the nanoparticles and recognize they can bind to this bacteria protein, the cells. So do you think those alterations will be cost effective? I think it's answered in your it is.
Yeah, it will be. I think it would be more effective if the structure of antibiotics on nanoparticles still remains. But if the structure already be destroyed for the binding site, so of course this will not be effective. So that's why usually you have carefully check or use a different kind of characterization methods and also found the assay for the antibacterial assay to check still activity still remain or not.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And there's just a few more. I think, let's see, what time is it? 1:32. This one is, I think it's a suggestion, so we don't need to, it's a suggestion. So, from Miftahul Jannatin. It's not your students, right, Prof?
Hey, my student.
Oh, it is, it's a students. Okay.
Yeah, she would like to cooperation.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she wants to collaborate with us, Dr. Tahta, STMM UNER. So in the field of nanomedicine and nanotechnology, since Taiwan has so many advanced instruments, so that it can improve the development in Indonesia also. You know, I will let Dr. Tahta answer this, please.
Is it
About collaboration, the Miftah, yeah.
Oh, I think it's possible, very possible to have a collaboration. I think so far in my, I mean, for me, I actually still have some collaboration with my advisor, Professor Chuang and Professor Chu. I think it should be possible to have some collaboration with the NCTU, with you.
Especially now we know Prof. Yu Jie Chen now.
Yeah, and actually I know Professor Chen, and
okay,
because we are because I stay in the electrophysics department, and then the physics department is very close to chemistry building, right? So sometime I think I see Professor Chen in the in sometime.
Oh, really? I look at like just other Taiwanese, not very characteristic.
Yeah. And we are lucky now. I have some direct communication with Dr. Chen, with Professor Chen, so that probably we can conduct some collaboration in the near future.
Yes, and I believe although we are new, STMM Department of Nanotechnology is new. Within 3 years or so, we will have seniors students who are ready to do research, right, for their final projects. So in that time, you know, then we can do some collaboration with Prof. Yu Jie Chen with our students, you know, hopefully. So. So that's within the line, within our agenda. And then last but not least, I believe this is, last but not least, I believe this is from one of our students, actually from the Department of Nanotechnology in Erlangga University. I want to ask about if I imagine that someday we can make something. This is sort of like imagination from, I believe this is from like fresh graduate from high school, so he has a lot of imagination. So so if I imagine that someday we can make something with nanomaterial with just by thinking of it, like every nanomaterial are connected to our brain, maybe something like artificial intelligence, something like that, robotics, something based on our command by brain. Do you believe someday that imagination will happen in the future? Or maybe that imagination is on its way to happen in the future. What is your opinion and how to realize that? I give the floor to the speaker. This is all about imagination, from the young mind. It's one of our students in Department of Nanotechnology. Well, good thing it's anonymous, so otherwise you probably no, it's okay.
Yeah,
yes,
I think of course the imagination is unlimited. So I think everything is possible, right? But just have to make efforts, and also you have imagination and put them into the reality. I think that's very good. And I think many research is like from imagination and then put efforts, and then we make it come true. It's always like this. So of course, everything is possible. Yeah.
Yes. Dr. Tahta?
Yeah, I think similar with Professor Chen, I guess. I think everything is possible also. nowadays, now we, for example, 10 years ago, probably 20 years ago, 3 years ago, we cannot speak like this, right? I mean, we are connected each other, even though that we are very long in the different location. For example, Professor Chen in Taiwan, I am in Japan now, and you are in mostly in Indonesia, right? So I think it will be possible. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's all actually my comment.
Yes, sky is the limit, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, thank you so much. Sky is the limit. if you just use your imagination, then you know, more or less nothing will stop you, more or less. except God, right? So sky is the limit. All right, let me stop share and then see if there are other Q&A. But let me see the time and our rundown schedule. If our time is pretty much finished by 1:20, oh, we are actually over the limit. So we should be finished by about 1:30. So now it's already 1:37. So we already passed a few minutes. So I will give. I will just give closing remarks. So I would like to thank very much for to both speakers. Inshallah, give tremendous tremendous presentation, very short and concise, right straight to the points as to what is the current condition of nanotechnology and the future prospect nanotechnology in Indonesia. For example, Prof. Yu Chie Chen so she actually doing a real things to although she's a Taiwanese, but she's contribute to thank you to Indonesia, to our beloved country Indonesia, by teaching our bright young minds, and teaching them and then train them when they are graduate students in NCTU, right? And then give a lot of examples, not only Prof. Yu Chie Chen, also other professor in Taiwan also give training. And then one living example is Dr. Tahta, mashallah. And then the Prof. Yu Chie Chen give some explaining why and how to use nanoparticles for biomedical applications. And she suggested to focus for Indonesia to focus on diagnostic, and therapy or medical treatment using nanoparticles. And she suggested some to address the use of nanoparticles to address the bacteria caused death in Indonesia. So one of them is tuberculosis, and then an example of cancer, although it's not quite a lot of cases yet in Indonesia, but since the way globalization occurring right now, so we still to get used to with the lifestyle of Western. So hopefully it's not going to happen, but God knows whether it's going to happen or not. But may Allah, may God protect us for that. And then she also gave an example of by reacting nanoparticles by immobilizing it onto a bacteria or vice versa, and then separate it with magnet, for example. So she showed that in that way she can identify what kind of bacteria it is. So very quick identification for the bacteria using mass spectrometry. So using the molecular weight of the bacteria itself, so we can recognize or we can identify the bacteria. And also using nanoparticle attachment, she also showed that it can inhibit the bacteria growth tremendously. So it can it can save the human being and also living things. So our next, the second speaker is Dr. Tahta. Like I said, mashallah, is a real life example of NCTU Taiwan alumni. So now he's recruited by STMM UNER. So it's soon enough after he's finishing his postdocs in Tohoku University in Japan, using prestigious GSPS postdoc fellowship. So he will come back home to Indonesia, to UNER, especially to the Department of Nanotechnology specifically, to teach our young and bright minds. Just like one example, one questions come from our one of our students, a lot of imagination, right? So he will teach, Dr. Tata will teach students, and then the coming years of students. This is after our first batch. And also Dr. Tata gave introduction of nanotechnology. Department of Nanotechnology which is born early this year, and it is as the first university in Indonesia, we believe, that holds a bachelor degree in nanotechnology. And also Dr. Tata gave a potential for Indonesia, right, in terms of electronic devices, the electronic device industry, due to abundant mineral resources, including natural renewable energy, for example, solar cell, that can use or can exploit this abundant natural resources in Indonesia, in terms of nanoparticles. So we can extract these minerals and then making them into nanoparticles, right? And then making so that it's more enhance its sensitivity, right? Enhance its properties, right? By several folds. This is typical results from nanoparticles, and most importantly, that Dr. Tata emphasizes the fact that Indonesia located in the equator. So solar cell will be a nice renewable energy that Indonesia can invest on, not only from the human resource side that comes from STMM UNER, also with collaboration with NCTU, right? So in addition to that, Dr. Tata also mentioned about nano technology-based startups that use nanotechnology for aquaculture in Indonesia, to increase the oxygen content in aquacultures. So it is nanobubble company. So with that, I thank you for both speakers for very nice and excellent presentation, and thank you for all the answers. Like I said, for the audience, these are recorded. So if you need to see back to watch back the recording, you can. It will be in social media of IGE, I believe, and also in YouTube, I believe. So right. So with that, I would like to thank you for everybody's attention, and I will give the floor back to Ms. Nastiti. Thank you, Ms. Nastiti. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Arif. Thank you also for Professor Chen and Dr. Tahta for the inspiring lecture. And thank you, Dr. Arif, for moderating this webinar very magnificently. Before we disperse, I'd like to announce several information about international programs held by Universitas Airlangga and Taiwan Education Center in Surabaya. First, starting on October 5th until October 15th, we have the third Indonesian Heritage Course, or INHERIT, a 2-week short program conducted for international students to experience heritage of Indonesia. And then October, we have Erlangga webinar or research work or AIRWORK. This is for lecture. And on November, we have Western Australia and East Java University Consortium Research Sharing Day. And on November 11 to November 12, we have Erlangga Global Day. So if you're international students, you should join this program. And then on November 25th until November 27th, we have QS Apple virtual conferences and exhibition. And on December, we have local community empowerment with Universitas Airlangga, and this would be conducted online. The students will learn about social media courses and apply it to the benefits of community development. If you're students, if you're interested in international programs, please join this program. And we also have two programs that open all year round. First one is video conferencing with Universitas Airlangga. This is for academic staff and also practitioners. And another one, we have Airlangga Postdoctoral Fellowship or APD. This meant for doctoral graduate for maximum 5 years from the date of graduation. Next, we have two activities that will be held by Taiwan Education Center in Surabaya. We have online Mandarin teacher training. Sorry. Wait, sorry, technicality. Okay, next up we have an activity held by Taiwan Education Center and also Taipei Economic Trade Office in Indonesia called Online Mandarin Teacher Training 2020. There will be two terms for this online training. The first term will be held on October 24th until October 25th. And the second term will be held on 31st of October until 1st of November. And if you're interested in joining this online Mandarin teacher training, the application will be closed on October 18th. Next up, we have Taiwan Higher Education Fair 2020. So if you're a student and you're interested in pursuing higher degree in Taiwan universities, make sure that you join this education fair. And this will be held on November 1st, 2020, and this will be live on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the session. We would like to once again thank Professor Yu Chi-Chen, Dr. Tahta, and also Dr. Arif for the excellent and insightful talks. We also would like to express our gratitude to the committee and the participants who have contributed to making this webinar happen. Finally, I, Nastiti, as the MC and all the organizing committee of Airlangga Global Talk, would like to encourage the participants to fill a satisfaction survey through the link we already shared in the chat room. And we will also distribute the link through the email. And your feedback will be very much appreciated. Thank you, and I hope us good luck and see you in the next webinar. Have a great day, everyone.